Different programming languages are good for different use cases, but most of the time they can get you the same end output. Hi, my name is Adi. I'm a software engineer at Amazon, and in this video, I'm going to explain how programming languages work in a way I wish it was explained to me. So most programming languages can be split apart into two different buckets: compiled languages and interpreted languages. Compiled languages like C and C++ take the whole program you create, turn it into ones and zeros, machine language, and then they let you know if there's a bug right away. And then once they're done, you can just execute the ones and zeros, and it's a lot like very fast. Now, this is great when you're building something like an operating system or a video game that needs to be fast, but it's not the greatest when you're just trying to create a quick script. This is where interpreted languages like Python and JavaScript come in that execute line by line instead of just like turning the whole program into ones and zeros. They only turn one line at a time. Now they're 10 to 100 times slower, but they're really good for certain use cases. Next, you have to worry about strict versus dynamic typing. So strict typing is, let's think of it like a recipe being used to create a dish. You might have different pots holding different items. So one pot will only hold all the vegetables you're steaming. A pan will hold the sauce you're trying to create. And you won't all of a sudden put the vegetables in the pan. That pan is only for sauce. And so it's the same way for strict typing. Like this variable will only be a number. This variable will only be a string. And so it makes debugging really quick, but it makes coding literally slower because like it takes more time for you to process things and you're bottlenecked by your own constraints. Whereas dynamic typing makes you able to switch at any point whatever is inside that variable. However, it makes debugging really hard. Now imagine you'd run into a bug. You don't know where to find it. You have to kind of go into your program a lot more in depth, which if you have a large code base can be really difficult. And so a lot of the times, even if you're working with dynamic typed languages like Python and JavaScript, you will still bring in strict typing through like TypeScript, or I think it's called MyPy for Python, where you basically do have to give it a type just because it's like easier for you to handle and you want that safety again. Next, you also have to remember that there are going to be like memory management you have to do this whole time in a programming language. Now, for most languages you work with today, your memory will be managed for you by a garbage collector, which will find variables and data that you no longer need and like empty out that space in the memory. But old languages like C used to make you have to manage your own memory. Now that gave you a lot of ownership over the like hardware, but if you forgot to manage that memory, then you would have a memory leak and it would make your program unable to run because your operating system couldn't manage the memory that program needed at like ever, basically. And so in real world, you're going to work with a lot of different languages. You'll most likely have type safety. You'll most likely have garbage collection, but it's really dependent on what you feel comfortable with, what will get the job done, and just how fast you need that language to be.